For joining us on the Friday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Osen. Now today on the program, ahead of the supplementary elections, APC and PDP battle for 2 governorships, 94 legislative seats, as Adamawa PDP expresses confidence of winning. But let me report I'm hanging out with Majid Jamiu. Majid, I greet you.
Good evening, Citizen Jones.
Majid is a proud Ekiti son.
Yes, sir.
Again, you are bedecked in white.
Yes.
Here, next week, I'll disappoint you.
No, in the spirit of Ramadan.
Okay. All right. We are also joined by Tunde Abaton. Today, I greet you. You are from Abiokute.
That's not the correct pronunciation.
Okay.
Abiyokuta.
Okay. Okute. All right, then. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Just before you ask, I can tell you that Jide is unavoidably absent. He should be here from Sunday. Okay, then to our first story. You know, the great apostle of human rights had warned that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. Now, troops of Operation Force Sanity have intercepted a large quantity of ammunition being conveyed to bandits by a courier around pole wire in the Birnin-Gwari local government area of Kaduna State. Now, Commissioner for Home Affairs there, Samuel Arunwa, disclosed the hair-raising news while chatting with newsmen. According to Arunwa, a search conducted on intercepted vehicles revealed more than 2,000 rounds of various grades of ammunition, rounds concealed in different parts of the car. Now, our eternal gratitude would always go to our gallant troops. We are home, but not dry yet. Majid.
Yeah, no, this is what we've been saying, that intelligence gathering, more than brick and mortar, would win more of this war against the bandits for us. And I think that's what is paying off now. This is a very good operation where one of the couriers was using a black Toyota Corolla car. I mean, that you would rather think is on an Uber mission or Bolt mission. That Toyota Corolla is more common with all this car hailing business. So they saw him. I mean, they were suspicious. It was like the police would say it was contravened, and searched him, found about 2,000 worth of live ammunition in different categories. Yeah. 0.78 millimeter, 1.68 millimeter, and also magazines for AK-47.
For bullets and stuff.
Yeah, for AK-47 rifles. So I think kudos to our gallant security operatives. And I also want to say that this could only have been possible because of the support from the community. Yeah. And especially the joint task force, the civilian task force, who has been helping in giving the necessary and useful tips about the movements of these characters to our security operatives. We hope to see more of this. You could imagine the level of damage or hostility or kidnapping they could have done with this cache of ammunition that was intercepted.
Today, a dogfight, so to speak, with the bandits started in 2009. And after 10, 11 years, you are wondering if we are winning.
Well, I think what it also means is that, during the election, 4 or 5 weeks ago, we hardly hear of banditry or any other form of criminal activities. What it means is that while they were on holiday, in quote.
So, does it not provoke a question?
Yes.
Why were they on a holiday?
They were on holiday because probably they believe they don't want to continue business as usual. They want to adopt a new approach. They're also part of the system. It also shows that in our system of curbing this thing, we must innovate every day. But for those vigilant officers, we will have been caught napping.
Yeah. For
a single person to bring in such cache of ammunition. A round of ammunition can kill about 100 people at the same time. So they will have made Kaduna State and environs ungovernable for a very long period of time. And this is a signal to the incoming government in 6 weeks' time that it is not yet Uhuru. We have to redouble our efforts, especially the issue of having state police. It is so quite apparent. Naturally, soldiers are not supposed to be involved in this thing because they are for external defense. But now, the size and the strength and capacity of our police has been grossly exaggerated. It has been exhausted. So we need a new approach. We have to know that the war is not yet won. That is, new approach has to be done every day. Like he said, they now use vehicles that you least expect that they will use for that kind of operation, which means they can even go to lower vehicles to catch us.
Obviously, and as he said, intelligence at this point is
intelligence gathering is very, very important. And what it also means is that those people who are funding this thing are within, they are not without. So intelligence gathering within the system, we have to do a lot to make sure that the next government, it will not be, like you said, we have been on it for probably 14 years now.
Yeah. Majid, and targeting Kaduna for me is troublous. Why Kaduna? The administrative capital of the old north.
Yeah, it's strategic, and they want to prove to El-Rufai that yes, you know how to talk. We want to make sure that we give you trouble, And he said he would never negotiate with them, and he's been standing on his point. At a point last week, I think he declared a curfew in some local governments, which I think has been lifted now. You see, Governor Nasru El-Rufai has been up and standing. He's been fighting them, especially with the support of security operatives. So I think I would say kudos to him by not relenting, and it's yielding dividends, and also, of course, with support from the security operatives.
Okay. So we wish the government of Kaduna State, we wish soldiers of the operation Godspeed as they tackle banditry. To our next story, this is set in Lagos. The Lagos government has expressed a total displeasure over the Gangs of Lagos film. That's the title of the film, Gangs of Lagos film. The Nigerian crime action thriller supposedly captures Isaleko reality. But the Lagos government is miffed by the content. In fact, the Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mrs. Uzamat Akimbite, did I get that right? Akimbile Yusuf, insists that the film series is very unprofessional and misleading, while its content is derogatory of our culture. Again, it's an unjust profiling of the people. Tunde, we've been there before. And you are wondering, aren't we reactive as opposed to being proactive?
Naturally, I know Lagos State has a film census board, which is supposed to be under the Ministry of Information and Culture and Strategy. Before a film becomes a property for the public, it will have gone through a particular process, just like building now. For you to say a building has collapsed, did they not get approval from the Ministry of Planning? Did they not get approval from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism before that? Even if it means a small preview of that thing. Yes, it is bad enough that if a film comes out, you now ask two questions. Number one, why is the film being released now? Why now? Why is the film especially the title of the film?
Wrong time.
To show the bad side of Lagos. Let me tell you something. There is nothing we can say the fact that Lagos remains the fourth largest economy in Africa. And because of that particular status, you will have a lot of things that will be inside it, both the positive
you think
and the
this
negative.
Is deliberate?
Well, it is not impossible that it is deliberate. Why is it coming out now that the new government is about to go inside, and knowing Lagos that is expanding and increasing every day? You cannot rule out certain things. But the fact remains that when you now highlight a particular culture of the people, and you now give another meaning entirely, because a lot of people have lived in Lagos for decades. I can even count how many years I've seen Eyo. Eyo is not something that comes out every day.
Yeah.
It is meant to be used seasonal, either when an Oba is about to be coronated or when a great man has passed away, as a rite of passage for that person. So when you now use Eyo, that is not so constant, that is you don't see all about. When you now use it as a peg to expose what you consider to be the odd side of Lagos, I think it is not the best at this point in time. But the question remains, how did the film come out before going through the Lagos Census Board? Because there's a film census board in Lagos State.
And Majid, in the same vein, how come some notable names in Nollywood are starring in the film?
You know, it also tells you the audacity and also the kind of checks these platforms, these streaming platforms put to the kind of stuff they air. This particular one came on Amazon Prime Video. I doubt if this kind of movie will be allowed on Netflix or Showmax. You know, primetime Amazon tries to compete with Netflix, you know, and this is the rubbish they have come out with. And about the censorship or control from the, and I think it is the national body, the National Film Censors Board, Video Censors Board, which is national, that has the overall say, clearance. I wonder what they do. I wonder what they do there.
Majid, just before we came on, I teased that Tunde. I said, are we necessarily a crime-prone people, or are we paying for not punishing bad behavior?
You see, before I answer that, let me also say that, see, if you look at the names of the promoters of this movie, Jade Oshiberu. Oshiberu suggests Ogun, or thereabouts. Kemi Akindoju. Akindoju suggests Ondo State.
Yes.
Now, even if you don't know about the culture of Lagos, you can go and meet the custodians of the culture, like the Akpesiola of Eyo Oba Alaketepupa, the Okalaba Ekun, Prince Uthman Chodipe Dosumo. I mean, who issued a statement? I mean, I love that statement, saying that this is akin to ethnocentrism. I mean, and he said it can even approach that the custodians of the tradition can approach the International Criminal Court, so that these two people should be punished beyond just taking. Because see, there's a difference between your festival and your masquerade. Your masquerade is what you see when they do all these your festival. These shows at the TBS on an annual basis. But your festival, like Abaton said earlier,
comes out on
really maybe when for the passage of a great Oba or some traditional chiefs, and which is it's not just something that happens on a daily basis. So when you try to lump this thing up and now say your masquerade is a villain that uses guns, how many times have guns been used when you see the masquerade? Which something we see on a daily basis. But the festival is quite different. So for you to attempt to model these two and recreate tradition, and like he said, the timing is very, very wrong. This is the time that some people are feeling challenged in Lagos. So the statement by the custodian of that's the Dosumu family, they are Christian Ola. Yeah. I mean, fantastic statement, which I think Uzama Akimbile Yusuf also supported as a government, that no, we can't allow you to rewrite history negatively for us in Lagos.
Yeah, but what I posed.
Yeah.
Are we paying for the sin of not punishing bad behavior?
Yes.
Or are we prone to behaving badly?
Yes. No, I think we are prone to, I think it's the two together now. Like I said earlier, we have a National Films and Video Censors Board.
Oh, there is.
That approved this before it came out.
Things like this.
Yes, that approved this kind of stuff. Of course, we have seen some epic movies that tries to depict tradition. I mean, these are some movies you want to watch over and over again, sponsored by the streaming platforms like Netflix. And I want to believe that Amazon Primetime Video sponsored this. I watched a bit of the movie, and because you need to subscribe to Showmax on DSTV, you need to subscribe to Netflix, which Ghana's millions of billions of dollars per annum, and now Amazon Prime also wants you to subscribe. So so I think people should be punished for this kind of infractions when you have access to tradition and deliberately you want to rewrite history. Some people do this to trend and to make money at the expense of tradition. It's a no-no.
Yeah.
And I think the Lagos State government should actually take it up by taking them to court, that the things should be brought down.
Again, I'll go there. Even war has rules. I teased you also. Majid, you were not there, but make I talk publicly. I said armed robbery has rules.
Yes, rules of engagement.
Oh, yes.
Even among them.
But in the film industry, there are rules.
Sure. Well, I think it is a function of the fact that our institutions have failed or have not been allowed to do their work appropriately. And it boils down to one fact. Somebody or nobody has ever been held responsible for any infraction in the society. If people
we
have
hardly
been held responsible, we hardly punish people. When we punish bad behavior,
sorry,
another person will come.
Majid, a phone call and somebody who should be in soup is let off the hook.
See,
so it's unfortunate.
You need to see the review by those who have watched this thing on social media, even before the statement from this thing.
The government.
I mean, film critics, their views on social, very negative, that this is rubbish. Overhyped.
Why coming out at this particular point in time in
They
Nigeria?
don't even know. They don't know the difference between Adamu Orisha, which is Eyo, and they don't know the difference between the festival and the masquerade. Just lumped everything together and say Eyo is evil. I'm not a traditionalist, but then I have studied a bit of tradition. Even as a layman, I understand that no, this is wrong. This Eyo is something I look forward to. When was the last time the Eyo became this thing, and you are now trying to model things up, and you are bringing it out at a time that Lagos is so charged? Some people are saying they are being disenfranchised.
Okay, the debate continues. Ours is to provoke debate here based on the facts available to us. All right, to our next story. You know, for a people who leave everything in God's hands, heeding warnings about impending disasters and natural occurrences would always fall on deaf ears or taken for granted. Once again, the federal government has alerted states, including Akwa Ibom, about an impending flooding this year. At least about 626 local governments are prone to flooding. And that's about 80% of the country. Are we ready for the forecast, the predicted deluge? Now, let's hear what the government has to say about this before we break the subject matter. Watch on, please.
This meeting is a public presentation of the 2023 climate-related disaster preparedness and mitigation strategies. The document contains strategies to aid organizations and agencies carry out preparedness and mitigative actions to safeguard lives, livelihoods, properties, and the environment against hazards related to climate in 2023. The 2022 floods displaced about 1.4 million people, affected many farmlands, and recorded over 600 deaths. The preparedness strategy released is to ensure this does not happen this year. He projects the implication of the impending flood on the agricultural sector, environment, water resources, health, transport, power and telecom sector.
The forecasts have provided much insight into what to expect ahead of this rainy season. The reality is that this year may witness floods similar to what occurred last year, if not more.
It was also quite alarming, the statistic we have seen recently by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, based on the World Bank and NEMA report, that Nigeria lost over $6.68 billion to last year's flooding disaster. And all these negative statistics further buttress the impact of climate change or climate-related disasters, as well as underscoring the imperativeness of the need for continued synergy between the three ends of NIMET, NISA, and NEMA.
NISA will always pledge its continued support to NEMA. Because that NEMA also see that NISA has something to give to it, to enable it to prepare appropriately, adequately, to ensure that we don't lose our citizens or properties in the course of the year.
It recommends federal and state government agencies set up sensitization and awareness campaigns on climate-related disasters. It also recommends provisions of funds for effective implementation of the strategy and the need for relocation of communities affected by floods to safer places. The alert raised by NEMA calls for interagency collaboration to ensure Nigeria does not record the number of fatalities it did in the previous year. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Thank you, Moyo. Jamil, we are here again. Last time was 2022. That is last year. Are we ready?
We will never be ready. It's an annual ritual. They will come with these statistics, with these early warning signals, so to say, from NEMA. But a man who lives...
Don't tell me NEMA no sabi woko.
See, no, I'm not saying they no sabi woko. See, there are some areas, I think it's even better now in Lagos because they do the silting. But there are some areas in Kogi where you see some buildings submerged. Some people would deliberately go and build in floodplains, and they will now be complaining. They will be the government should come and save us. Meanwhile, you go and build your house in dry season, when you know that during the rainy season, that place is always flooded.
Yeah.
So when rain comes, before the rain comes, these NEMA officials will go there, and officials from the Ministry of Information will go and tell them, you need to leave this place. They will tell you where we won't go. We can't go anywhere. We don't have an alternative. So it's something, the warning signals will come, but the flood will still happen. Like in 2022, 665 people died as a result of flood. More than
in different parts.
In different parts of the country. More than 4.5 million people were displaced.
Displaced, yeah.
2.4 million houses, either partly or wholly
completely
damaged. But despite these warning signals, it will still happen because people will tell you we don't have an alternative. When the flood goes, they will go back to their places of abode.
And of course, common sense, which we are told is not common, this is the time we need it. We'll go on a short break. We'll be back shortly, but please stay with us.
After a fruitful Ramadan day, replenish your body with the right nutrients. Make this your best Ramadan yet. Ramadan Kareem from Hollandia Dairy and Chivita Fruit Juice.
Are you ready to win big? It's It's Max Millions.
Give me that money. Pay off bills.
We're giving away 1 million naira to our lucky listeners who win a share of the 1 million naira. Tune in to 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja from 6 a.m. Listen out for the winning song, be the 10th caller, beat the clock, and you could win big.
5,000 naira! Come on!
Max Millions, only on Max FM.
REFAN is the umbrella association of the over 12 million Nigerian rice farmers. Through the administration of good and quality extension services, the Nigerian rice farmer has imbibed good agronomic practices, as a result of which the average yield per hectare, which used to be 1 ton as at 2015, is today 5 metric tons. This has resulted to the increase of the national production from 3 million per annum to 9 million tons per annum. As a result of this, today Nigeria is the largest producer of rice in Africa. Since the beginning of 2015, or the beginning of Ankobora program, Nigeria has officially not imported any rice into the country. All these successes could not have been achieved without the political will of Mr. President.
Yeah, today you must have your perspective on this matter.
Well, I think Nigeria as a country, we are by nature, we are not lawful. We are so lawless. In the sense that
we are so lawless?
We are lawless. We are lawless in the fact you don't follow most Nigerians.
But
look,
if you say we are paying for not punishing lawlessness, I can understand.
Well, I think people should also know that if you know a law, like we were talking the other time, that freedom of speech or the liberty you have is not a defense for being irresponsible.
Yeah.
It's not a defense for issuing statements that can cause conflict in the society. Yeah, the mere fact that you want to build a house, because government refused to put laws in place. I'm telling you, we have about 36 states in Nigeria. Each of the Nigerian states has Ministry of Urban Planning. You see, have they published areas where people are not supposed to build houses? You will see high tension wires. You see people building houses under high tension wires that can fall off. And if those wires should fall off, the buildings will be reduced to ashes.
You don't believe in miracles.
No, you don't try miracle that. Like, you don't try God. You don't try God in that particular area. So the problem is that our people, we don't follow laid down rules and regulations.
Yeah.
When you don't follow, there was a time in Lagos. If you say you are looking for a house in Lagos, they will tell you that if you want to get a good accommodation in Lagos, try during the rainy season. So you know those people that are under the sea level, especially when you move towards Surulere and some other areas. But when you go there in the dry season, you would think you have gotten a very beautiful place. So the thing is that I think we should enforce all these laws. I can remember when I was very, very young. Do you know that if you cross the road without looking right and left, and the car should stop suddenly, there are law enforcement agents, they will arrest you and arrest your parents for allowing you to wander on the road. Yeah. In those days, at least, I was a victim there. They will arrest you.
Majid, this man is old school.
Yes, old school. Yes, we have to enforce that now. Look.
I doubt if it's as old school as St. John's.
You see, the problem now is that it is also child abuse. When you allow your little ones to stray like goats or rams all over the place. So the thing now is that I think we should enforce.
Now children, Majid, are not streetwise. Yesterday, the children were streetwise.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday. Because in those days, we run after our parents. Today, parents run after their children. They will carry them to write WAEC. They will carry them to write JAM.
Yeah.
Even to do registration in school, they will sleep in the car. You see? So that is why they can never grow.
Yeah.
They have much intelligence and they are brilliant, but they lack wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing.
Yeah.
So what I believe is that we should learn to enforce our law. There is no state in Nigeria that has no land environment law. Let us learn to enforce them and tell people don't just buy land anywhere. But because those people, land speculators, most people are desperate when they want to buy land.
Yeah.
So they don't bloody care where they go. There was a time in my community, I told some old people that it is unfortunate that the way you build your house, by the time a government comes to enforce the law, you may be too old to do anything, and your children will not have, they will not have any house. Because you have not built a house. You build the house on the right of way of vehicles.
Yeah.
So I think we should enforce those laws. Until we enforce our laws, we continue to say...
Our trouble is not a lack of laws. We have
laws. We have laws.
We have laws,
the states in
but
Nigeria
enforcing
laws,
them.
but we don't
Lack
enforce
of the
them.
willpower
to enforce the laws.
And you don't import willpower. You don't.
No, we have seen some instances where some so-called big men, quote and unquote, will deliberately go and build on drainages. Drainage.
Before you go far, during the period
and
of...
people will pour rubbish
During the period
on
of
canals and so
1999
on.
and 2007, you know what Lagos government did to arrest flood in Victoria land. A lot of well-placed people who built on the part of flood-prone areas.
When that could have been avoided.
It could have been avoided.
All right, so we go to our next story. You know, political parties, including the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, are set to battle for 94 legislative seats in the federal and state parliaments. That's in Saturday's supplementary elections. That's tomorrow. Now, supplementary governorship elections would hold in Kebbi and Adamawa states tomorrow. Recall that in the last general polls, INEC declared winners for 26 governorships, 104 senatorial, 329 House of Reps, and 925 assembly seats across the country. Several polls were declared inconclusive, while others were cancelled due to irregularities and violence. Now, attention shifts to Adamawa State, where incumbent Governor Ahmadu Fintiri, PDP, slugs it out with APC's only female governorship candidate still standing. Jamil.
Yeah, that's where all eyes will be. And you see, we should not allow propaganda to take the better part of journalism these days. Adamawa, whether we like it or not, is a PDP stronghold. Atiku is there because of Adamawa. He has stayed back. Yesterday, he issued a statement and he has been campaigning. Now, between Fintiri and Binani, the PDP is in the lead with about 31,000 votes.
Yes.
And with Beavers, I doubt if that can be overturned. Yeah. Well, maybe that time for the first female governor is not yet ripe. I'll try as much as possible to be objective. It is almost impossible for Binani to overtake Fintiri. Sorry, in the same way where in Kebbi, the APC is leading with about, I think, 46,000 votes from the, and if you see the way Kebbi's election is structured, 21 local governments, elections we hold in some polling units in about 20 local governments. So it's, with Beavers, it's almost impossible for you to overturn a 46,000 elite, especially given the close contest in these elections.
Yeah, today, share sentiments. I would have loved to see the first female governor in my country.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is that, like you said, sentiments are loud. People are very emotional.
Yeah.
Because they are emotional, they become sentimental. When they become sentimental, they didn't look at the facts and figures.
Judgment is skewed.
So the issue of this election is that even if the woman scores all the votes tomorrow, I doubt whether he can beat the governor by that margin, 31,000 margin, if all those voters come out in those two local governments. Another thing is that we should just be realistic. Like I was telling some people that President Muhammadu Buhari, he contested 3 times. He won the 4th time when he built bridges and he corrected some errors. So why must somebody make a try for the first time and believe that by nook or crook he must emerge winner.
And beat,
so the problem is
and beat the incumbent.
And beat the incumbent. It is not so easy for the very first time.
But tell me, I want to be educated here.
Yeah.
Is incumbency a factor?
With what has happened in Nigeria this year, it is no more a factor. Why? The fact that there are some 5 governors who lost their bid to go to the Senate. Yeah. The president was defeated in his home state. The president-elect was defeated in Lagos. And yet people are shouting that the election was rigged. See, I can't know. Yeah, people are afraid to see another. Like I said, emotion gives rise to sentiments. And people are no longer... Politics is about figure. You know, the game of politics is about figure. How many people you can get to your size. Even 5 votes matters a lot to a good politician. So you need a lot of time. We have to be patient with democratic principles. Those are the principles that you must cultivate people, you must campaign very well, you must convince them that when they cede power to you, you will use the power for their advantage. But people should not just sit down in one corner, like you said, media, and begin to say that, hey, the election has been rigged, hey, the woman should win. Yeah. No, it is not by your right. Yeah. It is the level of might.
Level of might.
Political might that you have to win.
Jamiu, women in politics is at issue in Nigeria.
Well, they are just not there yet, especially at the governorship level. I saw some propaganda, you know.
So it's the same as saying America is not yet ripe for a female president.
Yeah.
It's relative.
So, no, now we have a lot of things in common with the Americans. You know, the election between Trump and Joe Biden held on November 3rd. The last result was November 3rd, 2020. The last result of the presidential election was uploaded onto the server, a server that was supposed to be live on 5th of May, 2021, 7 months after. Check the internet, you'll see these results there. So, but whether it was because in some counties and some districts, there had to be a recount over and over again. Trump instituted 62 cases to stop Joe Biden. 62. So in Nigeria, just like our brothers in Labour Party are attempting to do now, and I keep telling them, they will first need to kill Atiku or destroy PDP before you go forward.
Overtake the number 2.
Yes. So because just like the character of a PDP in Lagos, he did his own in a very funny manner. He went for someone.
It's called 68,000 votes.
It's called 62,000 votes. He went to display somebody who's called 750,000 votes. And you know what he took to the tribunal? He said the incumbent and governor-elect Sanwo-Olu, he was talking about his certificate. And after leaving that, you know, he knows that if he takes out number 1, he will have number 2 to contend with. And he went to Chinedu Patrick, close rival, and said he was not duly nominated. So he said the votes of the 2 of them will be erased, and they will now give it to him.
Become the winner.
So that was his own pathway to victory. When he knew that, I mean,
we love magic.
Majid, but you know that in politics, I understand. I don't know about you and Tunde.
Anything can happen.
Plus 2 is 22, not 4.
Yeah. I'm sorry, let me also say this. I think Nigerians should understand something today. We are not taking some of these things into consideration. In the presidential election, APC scored 8.79 million votes. In governorship, APC scored 7.7 million votes. PDP scored in presidential 6.9 million votes. Governorship, it came down to 5.8 million. Now, Labour Party, 6.1 million votes, presidential election. And guess what they recorded in governorship? Less than 1 million, 689,000.
Why do you think that was so?
They just lost 89% of their relevance, influence, and you see, when we talk about structure, this is where the structure came in. You see, structure, especially when you have members of, especially when you have governors. Governors are principalities. But for Beavers now, that allowed 20 governors to lose control of their states in the presidential elections. 20 governors lost their states. So, 5 governors lost their bid to return.
To go to the Senate.
To go to the Senate.
So, it is only Beavers that can make this happen.
Impossible.
Now, there's also what we call the bandwagon effect. Yes, I mean, Obi is our candidate. He has lost. I don't even know who the governorship candidate is. In fact, in some states, the Labour Party didn't have candidates for Senate and reps. That is the truth. So,
except in Abia.
Yeah, of course, except in Abia. And look at the way Soludo fought for his life in Anambra
State.
So, and look at the guy in Imo. You see a 360 degrees. You know, no two elections are the same.
Even look at Nasarawa State.
Yes. Now, Imo presidential election was won by Labour Party, but governorship and House of Assembly, of course, there's no governorship. House of Assembly election, 27 over 27.
Yeah. Okay. Tunde, looking at the totality of our elections, do you think we are a long, long way from home?
Well, we are not a long, long way from home. Like I said, we have to be patient with these principles. With the introduction of beavers this year, it has shown that anybody can kill a giant at any point in time. The beavers trick.
Yeah, but what about election day violence and all that?
Well, I think maybe you call it voter suppression. You can only suppress. Okay. You can only suppress vote where you are very popular and where you are very strong.
Yeah.
If you are not strong, you cannot suppress because security agencies will be there for you.
But if you are
popular, if you are popular, say in Lagos, do you need to worry what the opponent might be doing?
Well, I think when we cite the example of Lagos, people were so liberal and people let off guard during the presidential election, thinking that every other person will play by the rules. I think by the time we had the governorship election, everybody was on guard. Look at the Victoria Garden City. You know the result. In the governorship election, the party in Lagos State won by 25,000 votes.
Yeah.
So what was the magic of the presidential election? Where were those voters? It means the voters you had during the presidential election, they were not even educated. Now, people said, I try to educate some people. If you say a Labour Party has won Lagos State by only 10,000, they had only 2 members of the Houses of Assembly.
Yeah.
Then their voters, those who went to the polling booth, they were not voting for members of the Senate and House of Rep. They were just supporting the president. So when you vote for the president alone, who do you expect to support him in carrying out his work? So they are not educated voters.
Okay.
They are misguided voters.
Reasons
why they did not have a single Senate seat.
Voter education should come from who?
From the party and the INEC.
Okay.
Party has to, like he said of structure, if you have 30 members, 40 members in Lagos State House of Assembly, each of the assembly candidates will campaign in his constituency and educate his followers about how to vote. That is very, very important.
Okay. Majid, Nigerian politicians are bad losers. Is it possible to factor that into what we're discussing?
No, of course. And then I would give you an example now with what they are planning to do with the 10th National Assembly. You know, the opposition, they know that they don't have the numbers. Okay, in terms of the total numbers, this is the first time we are going to have a plurality, so to say, in the National Assembly. For example, in the Senate, we have about, I think, 7 parties. So it's going to be called off like a rainbow. With APC having 57, PDP 29, Labour Party 6 senators, NMPP 2, SDP 2, and YPP 1. So you can see that. So now we can see a situation where the APC has to be very, very careful to allow consensus and a lot of politicking and strategy, because if it's not as if we have an Ekweremadu situation where an opposition person became a deputy senate president or a principal officer, but we can have a situation where somebody in the APC who is popular can work with some opposition, because we are not having an APC PDP situation now.
Oh yes.
We are having APC versus
a
multi-legged
horse race.
It's even good in the Senate. It is worse in the House of Reps. With the margin is not that much, and what is at stake on tomorrow is not really much. We have 11 seats in contention in the Senate for tomorrow. 98 already concluded out of 109, while in the Reps we have 35 in contention, with 325 already determined, and we are going to 360. So total in National Assembly is 46, where we have APC leading 460. In Reps.
National Assembly,
total 46.
460, yeah.
While the remaining 48 are for state houses of assembly. So that's why if you add the two, you get 94 seats that are in contention in 2,660.
But mine is, our election should have been structured in a way that these supplementary polls are avoided.
What?
Isn't it possible?
No.
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
Georgia, almost every election cycle in Georgia, it goes into a runoff. Especially when there's a balance of terror between the two.
What it means is that all the parties that are going into election tomorrow, they worked hard. All the candidates worked hard. And when you have all the candidates working hard, no other party is strong enough to rubbish the others and have the majority. So, and that is the kind of democracy we need in this country. No party will be powerful enough as to march on the other parties. Let everybody belong. And it will also discourage the issue of carpet crossing, or people leaving their party and decamp to another party. It means you can make your party to be strong. By the fact that you are strong enough to defeat sitting governors in states.
Jamie, might I throw in this number 3 position man, number 3 man in the country, the Senate president? Are you looking at the calculations?
It's a very, very tough balance. Like I said earlier, we are going to have a very, very interesting Senate. Now, already we have number 1 man in Nigeria coming in, the president-elect, a Muslim. We have Muslim Southwest. Number 2, Muslim Northeast. And the Northwest are telling us now that they gave the highest number of votes to APC, that you cannot overrule us. And most of the people there are Muslims. Most of the senators from the place, they are Muslims.
So what are we saying?
They are saying that, yes, we are also in this race. Except party discipline will come to play, and Ashwaju will bring its dexterity as a politician. But then Ashwaju should understand that the way he's able to control Lagos, he can't do that in national level. Like somebody once said jokingly,
Lagos no be Nigeria.
No, he said,
and the other way around.
He said in Lagos, you people are playing Ludo. At the national level, it is chess. It's chess. No, chess is even a top. I think it's about the highest level of this thing in terms of intelligence. So, and you don't have to speak English for you to play chess. But for you to play Scrabble, you need to understand the mastery of English. But chess, a 5-year-old boy who is a genius can defeat the Kasparovs of this world. That's chess. But Ludo, Ludo is it peck and go or peck and whatever? I was thinking another. It's just pedestrian. So it's going to
even
be
snakes and ladders.
So Ashwaju needs a lot of wisdom and political dexterity to manage what is coming.
So
with
the positions
Assembly.
of the number 3 and number 4 man.
Yes.
Are essential here.
Very, very essential. And
very crucial.
another funny thing is that is APC zoning to the south.
That would depend.
If APC zones to the south, is it going to be southeast? Of course, southwest is out. It's going to be southeast
or south.
So it's a delicate balance, and that's why I said if a popular senator with the wherewithal believes is what is salt as an APC support from and do another Ekweremadu Saraki stuff.
Yeah.
So it is a very delicate balance that Asiwaju needs a lot of wisdom and bring out his political dexterity to resolve.
But again, talking about our politics, it beats me hollow that each time anything goes wrong, and of course that's usually caused by the politician, the INEC, the what do you call him now?
The umpire.
The umpire takes the rap. Natural?
Well, I think we are just, it's because we are not playing by the rule. INEC has tried its best. Yes, no election is perfect anywhere in the world. But we should, as citizens, as stakeholders, we should try as much as possible to play our own role. Like people suppressing voters, you should not allow the people to decide who they want to rule them.
Yeah.
As per the issue of balancing the National Assembly, I think this is the time the cohesiveness of the APC will be put to the greatest test, because the party has to soon some offices to certain parts of the country. And if the zoning could not work, it means it will not work in 2027. So the zoning in APC has to be done with all intelligence, with all wisdom, with all negotiation, so that the party can be stable. If the party cannot afford to live, for instance, now, when we are talking of South-South now, look at the politics is a game of numbers. How many votes did South-South deliver for the presidency? How many votes did the South-East deliver for the presidency? And for anybody to come from any of these zones, you must be strong enough at home to be able to command the respect of other people from other zones of the country. That is very, very crucial. So, like he said, if there's a senator that is powerful enough or strong enough from other parts of Nigeria, different from where the APC zone the thing to, it could take the balance.
All right, today, and Majid, we must terminate the show here, but not before thanking both of you for coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. And as I said at the beginning, we expect Jide back by Sunday. Okay, that will just about do it for Journalist Hangout for this Friday. You may watch a repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. And join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 for an expanded version. And we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.